Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So we just found out what like 99% of the cast of Captain America Civil War is going to be. So this is going to be a breakdown and an early preview of some of the new characters. So just to talk about the new characters first, Martin Freeman is probably going to be playing Everett Ross. His character is also going to be part of the Black Panther film, and Everett Ross is like a Black Panther character. He's someone that works for the government, so he works well in both universes, especially considering all the politics that are going to be going on in Captain America Civil War. The character's kind of like a government liaison, but you can see how casting Martin Freeman, they want a little bit of drama comedy. Marvel films in general tend to be a little bit lighter, than say like the DC films, which are really super dark and gritty. So if you're wondering what they might be going for, just because Martin Freeman has done some really ridiculous comedy like The Office, the British version of The Office, I'm expecting a performance closer to the type of comedy you would see in an episode of Sherlock. Really gripping drama with comedy in it. The Everett Ross character in the comic books kind of lends himself to that. Just imagine a Watson-type character reacting to crazy superheroes. They're bringing back William Hurt as General Thaddeus Ross from Incredible Hulk. That's a deep cut. It also lends a little more credence to the Everett Ross character. That was one of the biggest casting surprises, just because we haven't seen him in so long. But you can see how his character is perfect for Civil War. There will be no question as to which side he is going to fall on. They haven't officially confirmed Daniel Bruhl's character, but he is dollars to donuts Baron Helmut Zemo. Just like Martin Freeman is supposed to also appear in Black Panther, there's a rumor that Daniel Bruhl is also going to appear in Doctor Strange. That's just speculation right now, but you can see how Hydra would still be a thing in the era of Civil War, next year. In the timeline, it's really only going to be like a year after this. It's not like it's going to pick up years and years after Age of Ultron. More heads of Hydra rising up. Baron Zemo is just like one of the biggest Marvel comic book characters they haven't done yet. There's also loose ties to mysticism, which, could be the in for Doctor Strange. Moving further down the list, another really big surprise, Paul Rudd's Ant-Man is going to be in the movie. Just because Hawkeye's going to be in the movie too, what I really want to see is him stick Ant-Man on the end of one of his arrows and fire at him and do like the arrow punch, just like in the cartoons. That'd be so hilarious. Creative use of Ant-Man. Remember in the trailer, Hope Van Dyne said, "You're like a bullet." So why wouldn't Hawkeye fire him on one of his arrows? And then essentially the entire roster of the new Avengers. So you have the Vision, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Falcon, and War Machine. And for those that are asking, yes, Bucky is in the movie. Winter Soldier is coming back. He's so important to the Captain America character, there's no way he'd ride the bench. There was a small Falcon Easter egg during Avengers Age of Ultron where they were like, "Hey, where you been?" And he's like, "I've been on a missing persons case." That just means in the time between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, he'd been tracking down Winter Soldier, or trying to. There's a lot of rumors that Cap might die and Bucky might take up the shield. There's a number of characters, like in the comics right now, Captain America is the Falcon. But if you go further back in the comics, then Winter Soldier became Captain America at a certain point, so there are a number of candidates. I think they would go with the Bucky character. It'd be something of a redemption for his character. Frank Grillo is coming back as Crossbones. Remember, at the end of Winter Soldier, he got his face completely messed up, so he'll look a lot more like his comic book character. He and Chris Evans were actually exchanging mean tweets with each other. I mean, they were joking, but Frank Grillo was just basically telling Chris Evans he was going to beat the crap out of him. Emily Van Camp's Agent 13 is coming back too. Her show on ABC just got canceled. She was on Revenge. There's a lot of theories that she might do another Marvel TV show, but for now, she's going to be in this Marvel film. They're going to be filming for a long time too. How serendipitous. I'm sure she would have been in the movie anyway, even if her show didn't get canceled, but now I think they could just make her part a little bit bigger. I think part of the disappointment with her character in Winter Soldier is that she almost wasn't there. She probably had more scenes that just got cut out, but now they can feature her a little bit more because she's a really interesting part of the Captain America comics. And of course, Black Panther is going to be making his debut in the movie. And when I say debut, he's going to be in his vibranium costume. I've already done a couple videos for the Black Panther movie, so I'll add a link in the description. But essentially, his costume isn't just a normal suit. It's made of vibranium weave. Doesn't it just remind you of that Ultron joke in the movie? The most versatile substance on Earth, and the humans use it to make up Frisbee. That was one of my favorite quotes from the movie. We do not see Ulysses Klaue on the cast list. Andy Serkis isn't supposed to be in the movie. I mean, as far as we know. I totally don't have a problem with that, just because we already have like half the cast of Age of Ultron coming to this next movie. Civil War is basically like Avengers 2.5. You have so many Avengers in it, you might as well call it that. For those that are wondering about the presence of Iron Man in the movie, it's a Captain America movie, but you have a lot of A-list Avengers, especially Robert Downey Jr. Yes, he's going to be on screen a lot, but is still going to focus on Captain America's character. Robert Downey Jr. made this big deal after he re-upped his Marvel contract about stepping down his presence in the movies, but still appearing. He still wants to be Tony Stark, he's still going to be that character, but he's not going to be headlining as many movies as he did in Phase 1 and Phase 2. That's why you don't see a solo Iron Man film on the books in Phase 3. Him unofficially retiring from the Avengers at Age of Ultron is kind of the transition. Like, he's slowly stepping his presence down, but it's not like he's quitting the Marvel Universe. He's not pulling a Hulk and going off the grid. For those that are wondering where the Hulk is too, he's just wandering around. He's just trying to be away from people. He'll totally be back for Infinity War, don't worry about that. Any of the Avengers that you don't see in Captain America Civil War will be back for Infinity War, at least Part 2, if not Part 1. There's a lot of theories that, anybody that dies in Captain America Civil War might not come back right away in Avengers Infinity War Part 1. They've just started to write that movie, and they've already said that Part 1 and Part 2 aren't going to be like one film split in half. They're going to be two distinct storylines. There's a number of things that could mean, but it's not like Secret Wars where it's like this big giant event series just split into parts. Here's my big question for you guys. Who are you most excited to see in Captain America Civil War? Right now, I'm most excited to see more from Scarlet Witch and the Vision. They have such unique powers that we haven't seen in the Marvel Universe yet that I feel like it's going to be so much fun just seeing what they do. And yes, I totally think that they're going to push that ship. They're going to have a relationship. It'll be a big falling out. They'll weave in a lot of the classic comics. Vision and Scarlet Witch were always a big thing, but across the comics, they broke up. They had phantom babies that turned out to be Mephisto. I can't wait to see how ridiculous they get with it. As for characters dying though, I know everyone's asking about Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. If Captain America ends up dying, that's an even bigger deal. The time gem is really the workaround to that. Once you have the gauntlet, you can change anything you want. So they could hold the time gem to Infinity War Part 1, and that could be the way to bring back any dead big franchise characters. Really, I think Thor 3 is going to be our next gem-based, huge WTF space movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be pretty crazy too, so I think they'll try to integrate some of that. But the most gem-related stuff I'm expecting out of that movie is just Thanos himself talking about the gems. You can only use gems as the MacGuffin in big Marvel films a certain number of times. You can't do it in every single film. As of right now, we still need the Soul Gem, still need the Time Gem. It would be fun to see the Soul Gem show up in Doctor Strange and have it be like his Eye of Agamotto, but they could go any direction they want to with it. Also along those lines, note that Benedict Cumberbatch is not on the cast list for Civil War. Part of that is just because the actor isn't available. I'm sure if he had the time, he would totally cameo. And speaking of which, post-credit scenes, a lot of that's done during reshoots, like months and months after they wrap principal photography. So we could still see them setting up Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, a number of big characters that we just haven't met yet. They also have to start weaving in powered people, Inhumans to the movie. So I'll be interested to see how they do that, because we don't have any big Inhumans characters cast yet. Right now, I think the priority in terms of new characters is weaving Black Panther into the mythos. Gotta get some more vibranium. Speaking of which, I know a lot of people are wondering about Iron Man's new suit. He had a new suit at the end of Age of Ultron that they totally did not mention. It looks a lot like the Bleeding Edge armor from Invincible Iron Man number 25. That's actually kind of a riff on the Iron Man armor from the first film, just, with vastly upgraded parts. They didn't really address it in the film in terms of them getting more vibranium, just because the Vision was all the vibranium that Ultron took. I do think at some point he's going to make a new suit out of vibranium. It would be stupid for him to not, so I think it depends on what the relationship with Wakanda is going to be at the end of Civil War. Spider-Man is a big question mark. We know he's going to be in the film in some way, but they're still finalizing the contract on the actor. It's down to like the final list of candidates. There's Asa Butterfield, Tom Holland, Timothée Chalamet. I feel like any of those choices will be fine. The rumors right now for like the Sony Spider-Man solo films, the ones they're making with Marvel, are going to be him in sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. It'll be like a new trilogy. That means that he might be a freshman in Captain America Civil War, just so they can integrate those Sony films into the Marvel MCU timeline in a logical way. Kevin Feige did say that there is like a teenage Spider-Man swinging around in New York City right now, in the timeline that people just don't know about. The costume he has is going to be way more tuned down, something way closer to what a high schooler would come up with. I don't think that means it's going to look like cosplay, but if Brian Michael Bendis has his way, he will have his mechanical web shooters. So now that we know who some of the characters are, what I'm probably going to do is target some more bonus videos on characters, like do some Scarlet Witch Vision videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to subscribe to get everything. If there's anything you guys really want me to do, just let me know in the comments. I've also got some Ant-Man videos that I'm working on too, just because that movie is like a couple months away. So while you guys wait for that stuff, you can click here for my Black Panther video, and you can click here to learn about all the big cuts they made from Age of Ultron. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.